Hey there, Souk, everybody. Welcome back for another epic episode of the MRHB Crypto Show. Today, we got a lot of exciting things. We're talking about halal aspects of a very demanded project. So, watch out for that. We're going to have our market update from Mobi as always, and then a little few updates about what's going on with MRHBA. But before I get started, Mobi, what's going on? How's your day? How are you feeling?
Good man, I'm feeling good. Apparently, I've got Omicron, like most of Australia, right now. But I'm feeling okay. I was like a little bit tired, a little bit sleepy. I hit my wife a little bit harder, hit my daughter a little bit harder, but me and my son were okay. But alhamdulillah, man. Apart from that, can't complain too much. What about yourself?
I think you know what I think it's the same with me. I think I got it and it went away. I feel fine now, but a few days back I was very drowsy. I had like the sore throat, the basic symptoms, and I just was just sat and slept well, ate healthy, and I don't know if I did or not because I just thought it was a flu. I didn't feel like I was overly warm, so I think I'm good. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. I think I'm good. I exciting thing is I went through Umrah again, so I got
Oh,
another bald head
mashallah,
again.
mashallah.
Yeah, so Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. So this is my invitation to yourself, Mobi. This is a live invitation. The place is yours. You can come stay whenever you want. So come for Umrah, come for whatever you want. The place is
Yeah,
yours.
inshallah, 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 one day soon.
We'll jump right into your market update. This week is looking quite red. Again, Marhaba still was, it was still stable and it actually went up in the last few days, so which is good. But the market, I'm seeing way too many reds, my friend. What's going on? Why are we red?
Yeah, it's really interesting, Ahmed. Like we are in an incredibly uncertain time right now, right? So
Hmm.
more than we've ever been in the last couple of years. Like we could equally go to 30K or we could go to 60K. Equally, almost at this point, right? So like either we're
Hmm.
waiting for like a black swan event, like another hammer dropped from the US Fed or something, or a strong
Hmm.
positive catalyst, right? So we're waiting for one or two things. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think the game doesn't change. I think the objective, the macro objective doesn't change. Like it's still about getting into
Hmm.
good projects at good entry points, which is why
Hmm.
often we talk about that on this show, right? We often talk about good entry
Hmm.
points, good projects, and DCAing, right? Dollar cost averaging. You've spoken about that before in previous episodes. And at the moment, staying away from anything too speculative. So although we're not quite
Hmm.
sure, and we are going to look at the charts today, we are going to look at total crypto market cap and that type of thing. That's kind of the sentiment right now. So let's talk about actually what happened this week. Well, if I actually share my screen here, so this was fresh on would have been 2 days ago actually. The US Fed released their inflation rates, and we had a I think 40-year record breaking. This is a bad record to break, not a good one. 40-year record breaking 7% CPI, which here in a tweet I shared. That's a bit of a joke because like we all know that's a lot more when you look at the real cost of things like gasoline and price of cars and that type of stuff, right? So, but something funny happened. Like Bitcoin on announcement shot up, like just shot up with like a shot of adrenaline all the way to 44.5K again. And why is that? Like, is that contradictory? Because, we've been saying when the money flow, when the money, like when the Fed is tapering and reducing the money supply, that's having a negative impact on crypto. And that's definitely the case. The thing is, when you look into it, financial markets are really, really funny, right? 7% was expected. So because the rate came in at 7%, this was kind of priced in. So that's why the markets didn't really crash. Like that's how funny that, like that's how greedy they are. Like, oh well, that we expected that. It wasn't 8 or 9 or 10, right? And the reason why they gave the market some confidence is the Fed can only so many times say we're going to increase interest rates, right? What are they going to do? Say it again? So right now we know that the interest rate rise is likely going to come in March. So the market is happy to make short-term gains. And we saw that for,
Hmm.
bar a few cryptos, which I'll share with you guys today, we saw a lot of profit taking on every relief rally. So when I go into on my not glass node, but the total cryptocurrency market cap, you can see here we are now sitting at just over $2 trillion. And funnily enough, like when you look at it this way, right, with Bitcoin is the same price it was 12 months ago. But 12 months ago, the
Hmm.
market cap was a trillion, right? Like barely a
Hmm.
trillion, almost a trillion. So there's a lot more, I guess, diversity in the crypto space. We quoted last week, it's more of it's a market of cryptos and not a crypto market. That means there's select cryptos going up. The days of, which we had last year when, you know, the whole market would go up together, you could almost, make money almost everywhere. You have to be a little bit more selective. You have to be a little bit more educated right now. So I get into this chart here. So you guys have, seen, my Bitcoin chart before, but we've been kind of just hovering around this like 41.717 level of support, which I've mentioned in the past. We just hit it, we nudge back, we hit it, we nudge back. We went to 44, we came right back, and you can see here I've got my levels of support of 41.717. If we lose that can be a drop to 37. If we lose that can be a drop to 33. So that's where we can sort of see it fall to. As far as how high it can rise, Bitcoin has a lot of barriers it has to break through. It's similar to Solana in a way, but Bitcoin's probably got better fundamentals than Solana right now. You can see here, if I look at the RSI, which typically shows you like this, like that is the relative strength, and it shows you how strong the bulls or the bears are. You can see we have not hit positive RSI since mid November, really, right? You can see the
Hmm.
21-day moving average, it's pointing downwards, and it's relatively flat. Fundamentally, Bitcoin has never looked more bullish, if anything. So Tonga to copy El Salvador's bill making Bitcoin legal tender. So essentially, they're copying and pasting exactly what El Salvador did. And this is kind of interesting for me because Tonga is not that far from Australia. So you're seeing these nation states adopt Bitcoin. In my opinion, again, this is not monetary advice, I guess. But, I think this is something Turkey should look into, right? But obviously Turkey is a bit more sovereign. It has a bit more, I don't know. Maybe someone can talk to me
Well,
about.
yeah, yeah. So about Turkey, just because you mentioned it, because I did some research into Turkey. Sorry to cut you off there,
No, you're right.
because a lot of people are interested. So a lot of people are interested in the Turkish market and from the Turkish market, and they're just confused
Mm,
why what's going on. Um, Personally, aside from work, but personally, I think it's related to the lira, the crash of the lira, and if the lira is very volatile, people will start trusting the USDT, and they'll start pushing all their money into crypto, which will decrease the value of lira even more. So there's this whole economics thing where Turkey right now is against crypto, but I think as soon as the rise, I mean, by 20, let's say when COVID relaxes a little bit and tourism starts again, their lira value is going to go up again, and there's a lot of real estate investment happening there. So inshallah, it seems like they're going to have a back jump, and that's when they're going to be more accepting of crypto. That's what it seems like from my personal perspective.
I mean, and you've probably seen this too. I mean, what we do know is, the adoption of Bitcoin in Turkey is huge, and I think
Mm-hmm.
it's banned there. I'm pretty sure it's banned there, or
Mm-hmm.
strongly frowned against. So it is like one of the highest nation states adopting crypto, particularly amongst younger
Exactly.
people as well. Bitcoin solves a
Mm-hmm.
problem. Like that's what and I don't talk about it today, but CBDCs, like central bank, digital currencies,
Mm-hmm.
CBDCs, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just been everywhere. It's just been everywhere right now. Like America's looking at it, Australia's looking at it. A lot of Japan is looking at it. So they
Mm-hmm.
guys, like, people understand, like, fundamentally the argument for crypto is sound. Like, it works. It's just a matter of
Yeah.
who wants the lion's share of everyone's money. But yeah, moving on. Let me move straight to Ethereum, right? So, like, what does this sort of mean for Ethereum right now? Like, what about the Queen? How's the Queen doing? Well, when you look at Ethereum 2.0, a deposit contract surpassed $30 billion in value, and honestly,
Mm-hmm.
Ethereum is becoming the Bitcoin of 2021 in a way. Like, it's a solid source of value right now. We have ETH 2.0 coming up. We've got sharding coming up. So as long as Ethereum doesn't exceed the targets by 2-3 months, Ethereum should be pretty sound money. So when you look at like the Ethereum chart, it's not a like markedly different to Bitcoin, but it is in some ways, right? So you can see here these three falling wedges. We actually failed at this time. We had this falling wedge, which is actually bullish. So when you have a falling wedge, generally the target is a break to the opposite side the wedge is pointing. So Ethereum came out, it tested it, it came back and it tested it again, and obviously it fell. Now 2900 is a very strong level of support, historical level of support for Ethereum on a number of different occasions. But you can see that the 21-day moving average is pointing downwards. The RSI is below 50, so the bears are in control right now. But you get this sense that if the market did collapse, not financial advice, that Ethereum wouldn't be hit as hard as a lot of the other layer ones, layer zeros that have been pumping right now. So still solid fundamentals, but just something, to watch out for. Speaking of layer ones and layer zeros, like, guys, we don't always get everything wrong on this show, but one thing we have been very right on is layer ones and layer zeros, like the new kids on the block, right? So one of those is, a few of those actually, is Rose, right? So we mentioned like last week that Rose was going to have Rose or / Oasis. We mentioned Yazoo swap, if you remember, Ahmed, right? That Yazoo swap was going to launch. Well, that's launched, and it did well, not as well as I thought it was going to do, but it had $100 million total value locked in 24 hours. And if we are in a bear market, nobody's told Rose, because Rose has been hitting all-time highs. So if you look at my chart over here, it's actually at an all-time high right now as we're sort of recording. We had this like potentially bearish, double top that Rose just ignored. It just completely ignored. We are well into the upside right now. Right now, it's kind of invalidated some of my patterns and targets. But when you sort of look at this tear that Rose has been on, is now a good time to buy? Well, honestly, guys, you just have to be patient, right? Like I had this moment earlier this week where I wanted to DCA into some AVAX and Cosmos. And I'm like, you know what? I know the market's going to dip in a couple of days, but it's only a small amount. I'm going to put it in anyway. And sure enough, it did dip, because when you see a chart like this, green, you can see we bounced off the 21-day moving average. There's a fair bit of distance. We've got these 5 very, very strong Heikin Nishi Japanese candles. We are in overbought territory on the RSI, and MACD is bullish. So it is bullish. Now, is this thing going to continue going higher? It could, but it's not building support along the way. So it needs to retrace. So my target for Rose right now, if you feel like you missed it, you probably have. You probably have. But like my brother Ahmed always says, there's always another bus coming in crypto, right? There's always another opportunity around the corner. You like that one? You like that one, Ahmed?
Yeah. I really appreciate people when they're blunt about it, because if you missed it, you missed it. It's okay though. You missed it, but you missed an opportunity. But it's okay.
It is what it is. I mean, the best thing to do, and that's what we're here to talk about. That's what we're here to share with you guys. Is okay. If you missed it, where can you get in? Or what's the next one? What's the next one? So you don't get this feeling again and again and again. You know what I mean? So like we did a layer 1, layer 0 thesis, sort of the first episode of the year. Guys, go back to that. Every single one of those coins has made money. That doesn't always happen, but the thesis of interoperability, Web3 being the year of Web3, that is definitely the case. Web 3.0. So again, not financial advice. Use look at good projects with good entry points. That's what today's about. So another one is NEAR, right? So NEAR's another one that we've been talking about. Some news came out just less than 9 hours ago, actually, of recording, that NEAR protocol has raised $150 million to promote Web3 adoption, right? So everyone's trying to get on Web3. Everyone wants a piece of that pie. Now, when you sort of look at the charts on the NEAR chart, you can see here we've got a very strong level of support at $13.20. But again, similar to Rose, but not as much, it has rallied pretty hard over the last 2 or 3 days. We are now sitting at $19.80. By the time you're watching this, I wouldn't be surprised if it's $20. But you can see here, there is a fair distance between the 21-day moving average and where we are now, a fair distance. So the 21-day moving average is almost like a trend line, right? I mean, it is a trend line. It is. But you can see here, like the further we get away from the 21-day moving average, like we are now, it has to come back. Eventually, it has to come back. Now, when it comes
Yeah.
back, is that point higher? Possibly, but that's where you look at other indicators. RSI is oversold, very well oversold, and obviously MACD is bullish right now. So just something to watch out for. But again, it's one of those things where, yeah, sure, if we retrace 20%, if we go down 20% or 10, 15%, if you want to FOMO in, I wouldn't. Some of these projects, if you had to FOMO in, again, please don't buy them on an all-time high. But if something retraces like this and it's down for the day, down for the week, it's not a bad time to get in, because fundamentally, these projects are going to do really, really well. So moving on, if I said, if Ethereum is like the Bitcoin of 2021, like this year, then and then they used to say, last year we were saying Solana is like the Ethereum of 2021. Then what is like the Solana of this year, right? Well, I'm going to put it to you guys that it's Phantom. So still in that whole camp, the new kids on the block, the new gang of these layer ones, I'd say Phantom, is possibly the Solana of 2022. Rather. So I'm sharing a tweet here, and this is showing total on-chain transactions. So this is on my Twitter at MRHB Sadiq. If you guys want to check it out, you can see here Solana has on-chain transactions. This is data from November from CoinMarketCap, 1.5 billion, and then you can see here Phantom is 21 million, right? So fast rising. It's actually got more on-chain transactions than AVAX and Luna, and you guys know how much I love those two projects, which are also two very, very good projects. So it's got more transactions than AVAX and Luna. It is actually faster than Solana based on finality. So that's like, people talk about, transactions per second, but based on finality, so how quickly your transaction is actually resolved. And it's quickly, very, very quickly catching up to, every time I share this, guys, like it's like this show is an exponential, reason for TVL to increase on some of these projects. So I've shared DeFi Llama before. I'm going to quickly share it now again. We've gone up 5% in a day for Phantom. That's total value locked. So that's money invested in DeFi, actual money, not just a speculative asset of a market cap. And 7 day of 20%. Now Phantom is at 7 billion. So if you remember, Ahmed, last week I was like, oh, it's half. If you vaguely remember, right? I said it's half, right, of Solana. Solana is like 9.7. Phantom's now $7 billion. So it's 2 billion away. It is closer to Solana than we were last week. You know what I mean? Look, which is actually, phenomenal. Now, looking at the chart, if I go to the, let's talk about, like I said in the start, like good projects at good entry points. What are we looking at with Phantom? Well, right now we are sitting at almost all-time highs. You can see this real thesis, this sector rotation with layer ones right now. It's not as overbought as Rose is or near. And you can see here, if you guys can see this, blue line, I'm going to highlight that so you guys can see this blue line. It textbook bounced off of it, and it came under, and now it's over it again. So buying on this line from a long-term point of view, if you're an investor, if you're like, look, maybe I don't care what it's going to do in 1 month like you do. If it's a good project and I've done my research, I'll invest. It's not the worst time to buy, but to be honest, I would be looking at, so what are we now? We're like close to $3. I'd be looking at a fib retracement level of $2.53, or, and it's either, if this happens, $2.05 to $2.10. So if we had a market crash, Phantom's not going to drop too much more than $2. So that, you may not want to wait for that, but I've given you two levels there, a FOMO level and also a level where you might want to put some bigger bags in as well. Last thing I'll mention on Phantom is Andre Cronje, I think that's how I say his name, teases new decentralized exchange on Phantom. Now, if you don't know who Andre Cronje is, he's friends with Danielle from Frog Nation. These are the guys behind TIME Wonderland. Stay tuned because more on TIME Wonderland soon. Popsicle Finance, that whole mob. So these guys know what they're doing. They're very, very good at what they do. Anyway, guys, like I said before, if you feel like you missed Rose, maybe you have, but look at the trend. Like, look at, and I've said this in previous episodes, when a new DEX arises on a layer one, it's often quite bullish. This is happening with Phantom right now. So Andre Cronje teases new decentralized exchange on Phantom. This is something that will be running on the Phantom blockchain, and it's going to be coming soon. Again, you guys can look into this, right? But if you had to place a bet, it's more likely that Phantom is going to break out even further once this actually happens, because we've seen this before, and it's a very, very, very good protocol. AVAX, really, really quickly, I'm going to spend 30 seconds on AVAX. AVAX, you can see here. It's funny, right? Like, people treat some coins, there's this new pretty woman comes and then they forget the old one, right? Like AVAX seems like one of those right now. Like, it's the darling of last year, but it's still a phenomenal project, And like we've said, sometimes it's important to look at the coins or blockchains that aren't getting attention right now. And AVAX still has very strong fundamentals. So we're off our all-time high. We're sitting just underneath the 21-day moving average. If we did cross that, which is like $100, like $100 is the next sort of target. If you're a trader, it might not be a bad time to buy. But you can see here we are hitting these Fibonacci retracement levels quite nicely. So we're at $89, $90, which is a strong level of support. And there's a very, very strong level of support at $72 to $75. So there we go. Moving off of that, speaking of Solana, so Solana is not looking good. Like Solana, honestly, and I've said this in the past, guys, I do take my own advice. I've said it on this show. If you follow me on Twitter, I don't just, buy a bag and then, not share it if I get rid of it. I've gotten rid of half of my Solana holdings. I'm still bullish on Solana long term, but it's just not, doing what some of these other projects are. It doesn't have EVM compatibility. Now it's trying to introduce it, but it just does not have that cross-chain compatibility like a Phantom, Oasis, Terra Luna, AVAX, right? It just doesn't. So you can see we're in this downward trend right now. And this is, man, if there ever was a textbook relief rally sell-off, it is Solana. So we had some news coming from Bank of America, I think one of the banks, saying that Solana could replace Visa or, payment systems. And yeah, we saw a relief rally, but as soon as we hit 150, 154, there was some sell-off again. So now's not a really good time to buy. If you have Solana bags and you want to offload your position, not financial advice, I wouldn't offload all of it, but 150 is not a bad level. We need that now. Buy zone, if you're a Solana fan, $127. If we do hit a black swan event, then $100. But it's definitely trending downwards. You can see the bulls are in charge. RSI is all the way down here. The 21-day moving average is pointing down, which is also a bearish, I guess, indicator. So yeah, not financial advice. Moving on, let's not forget about some of the OGs, right? So Cosmos, and I don't have any charts or anything on Cosmos. I've spoken about it to death in the past. I'm not going to do it now. Cosmos is another coin that's rallied really well. Cosmos is it's like the new Polkadot. It's like the Polkadot of 2022. So, you've got, Phantom as the Solana of 2022. You've got Ethereum as the Bitcoin of 2022, and possibly Cosmos as the Polkadot of 2022. But Polkadot is still, it's one of those, really, it's run by Gavin Wood. It's a great protocol. There's a lot of parachain auctions coming up. Long term, it is a great investment. Although it's not showing some of these rallies that the other coins are. But there is still a lot happening. So this article here, telecom giant integrates with Polkadot blockchain ecosystem, purchases dot token. So what you guys need to understand when these, when these institutions, all these, blockchains, these layer ones try to use Polkadot, they need to purchase the tokens. It's very, very bullish for Polkadot. So just something to look out for. The last thing I sort of want to end on, and this is an older article. We ran out of time a few weeks ago. Ahmed, but I did want to share this with you because you and I have had personal conversations about this. This is an article from Cointelegraph on Jan 4, and the title is Coinbase CEO reportedly buys LA mansion for $133 million. Now, right around the time where this article came out, where the CEO purchased this mansion for $133 million, there was, I can't remember who it was, there was someone else, right? There was, it's quite common in the crypto world. There's a few stories breaking last year that these huge crypto guys, whether it's Sam Bankman-Fried or Coinbase CEO or Nakib Mohammed one day soon, purchasing properties, right?
Sure.
And it reminded me of a conversation you and I had. So not to go too in depth because I know we've got the Mufti waiting and this is a big show, but just a reminder, Ahmed, on and I'd love to get your view, and you've shared this with me. I want you to share it with everyone else on what the end game is. Crypto is important, but rotating into as a high level goal, speaking of goals, we spoke about that last week, into a property isn't a bad idea. What do you think, Ahmed?
Yeah, so there's this whole concept actually. If you've been part of the crypto world for some time, there's this whole concept of what is the exit strategy, what is the end of it? Because if you think about it, like how long do you continuously keep going with crypto for the long run? Obviously, you still hold some. You hold some till death does us apart. But you give those to your kids, and you give them the keys, and you tell them do not share these keys with anybody else. Blah 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 blah. The story goes on, and then it's the job of the next generation to destroy the wealth or make more wealth. XYZ. Generational wealth stuff I can get into at a different day, talking about topics about generational wealth, but talking specifically about this is that you need to maturely understand, and this is beautiful that you talked about Solana. You maturely understood that, hey, I think it's time to let go of some, even though I know how big of a Solana fan you are, and how much off the camera we talk about a lot of this stuff, and NFTs and stuff, and I know how much you believe in it, but at the same time you like maturely, I understand it's time to go, it's
You
time to
can't get
go. So
emotional
you have
with
to
them.
mature.
Mm.
Yeah, you get slightly emotional with them because these are projects that you read into so much, you understand the vision and all that stuff, and that's why you leave that little bit for the long run. But understanding right now in the short run, I know it's like I'm 80% sure it's going to go down. You make that call and you make that decision confidently, and you make it happen like you did. So, mashallah. Um, so going back to your topic about once the exit strategy, once the end game, what do you do after you made your 500x or whatever, the amount that you wanted to make? Well, you have to maturely start liquidating into an asset class which you are more comfortable with, because
Mm.
as you grow you cannot be happy with the you cannot be okay with volatility. It's natural because you want to retire, you want to relax, you don't want to take pressure on your head anymore. You have physical, you're not as strong anymore, so you want to start pushing things towards something that's a little bit more passive, a little bit more stable, something like real estate, something like gold and stuff like that, and things that you can kind of uh, use in your life, right? So get a nicer house, do all that stuff. So this is a concept that a lot of big crypto, you know, influencer, vloggers, bloggers talk about. And so this is something you got to determine for yourself. What is that amount that you're going to be comfortable with to take out a little bit of your portion from crypto? Because you're going to keep putting in. Like me right now, I just keep putting in. And so, but I know what my plan is with when I'm going to take this out and when I'm going to be comfortable to say, okay, I've hit the point where I wanted to take out my first 20% or my first 5% or my first 6%. Now it's time that I put this money towards this. So there's that maturity
Mm.
aspect that you got to find out for yourself. And if you guys want me to do a full video about generational wealth and all these different things, please let us know, and I'll be more than happy to go into details about all this stuff, because um, the reality is 80 to 70 to 80% of all wealth that is transferred or held is through generational wealth, and all this stuff. So that's a separate topic, but yes, it's important to understand what your exit strategy is.
No, thanks for that. I knew you had really good insight because we've had those conversations in the past, and just seeing these. Hey, maybe we will buy, and inshallah, you guys listening, you do buy $100 million mansions if that's what you want. Not everyone wants that, but just seeing what
Mhm.
even the crypto, and I think that's one thing I didn't mention, what the rich people in crypto are doing.
Mhm.
Like they have their exit strategy, they're diversifying into a finite, resource like property is a good lesson for us as well. And I knew you'd had some input. So, but that's the market update, Ahmed. That's all from me. Back over to you. And I think we have the Mufti patiently waiting. So, let's call him in.
Yeah, let's bring Mufti Saab in, and then I think let's let him answer a really, really demanding question on Wonderland and it being permissible or not. I think a lot of people would be really interested to see the answer on that. So, is Mufti Saab in? Just let me know.
We do Mufti Saab. Wow, you're looking very good today. You got the mashallah, you got all the books in the background. I can see the nur in your face today. Not that we can't, but like I think
Subhanallah.
I think your new
It's the
place,
light.
right? You
It's
just,
the light,
it's
I'm
the
telling
lighting.
you.
It's the lighting. I think you just moved in, right?
Subhanallah. Assalamu alaikum, Mufti Saab.
Yes, that's right. Yes. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. How are you guys?
Alhamdulillah, we're
Doing
well, very
fantastic.
well,
Doing
much
fantastic.
better now.
Yes. So, Sheikh,
Alhamdulillah. That's good.
quick
That's good.
question. We
Yes.
have this. We have this
Hmm.
topic, Wonderland. What's going on? Like, can I use it to make that halal income? And if you know me from my personal brand, that mashallah money. Please, the floor is yours. Please answer for us. What can we do with it?
Yeah, thank you very much. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Yeah, so I looked at Wonderland earlier this week, and which is, how can I say that? Which was quite interesting because looking at it reminded me a lot of Olympus. Was it Olympus DAO,
Olympus
the
Dow,
one we
yeah.
did last time? The Olympus one. Uh, yeah. So then I realized that actually Wonderland was actually a hard fork of Olympus. So maybe that's why there were some similarities between the two. But Wonderland itself is meant to be a decentralized reserve currency protocol, and the native token of Wonderland is called Time. Okay. Now, Time as a token is backed by other crypto. Uh, there was, I think, two or three crypto that was mentioned. I think the most famous one is the MIM token, which stand, I think, for magical internet
Internet
something
money.
something.
Magic internet money.
Don't remember exactly, but the MIM token is M, magic internet money. So MIM. Okay, so this time token is backed by this MIM token. Now MIM token, is that how you pronounce it? MIM or MIME?
I think it's
I'm
MIM,
guessing it's
yeah, but
MIM, right?
it's, yeah, it's the acronym, yeah.
MIM, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So this meme token is actually pegged to the US dollar. Okay. Now, by you owning a time token does not mean that you actually own a meme token, uh, because I did not find any proof of that anyway. Whether there is a form of ownership of the meme token just by holding the, what do you call it, the time token, is yet to be proven. However, what I can say is that since the time token is a token that is meant to be used, or that can be used as a cryptocurrency, as a medium of exchange, therefore it should be considered from a Sharia perspective as money, as similar to money. Okay, this make this means that if you own the token, if you buy the token and you hold it and you use it to trade, there should not be any form of how can I say that, any issues from a Sharia perspective. Having said that, the real question, as Ahmed was asking me, is can you actually make money of the Wonderland protocol? Now, how do you actually make money? So, to hold a time token on its own does not bring you money, of course, uh, but you would need it to interact within the Wonderland ecosystem. Now, on the Wonderland ecosystem, there's at the moment two ways I have seen, or two main ways I should say, or that an investor can actually make money. One is through minting, and the other one is through staking. Now, although like when you read about Wonderland, you will always read about staking first, because this is, people are more mainly interested in the staking model because of the high return. But I am mentioning minting before staking here, and I will explain to you guys why in a minute. So you can make money through minting and staking on the Wonderland ecosystem. So what is minting on Wonderland? Well, minting is just another term that they're using for the process of bonding. Okay, and bonding here on the Wonderland ecosystem is very similar to the bonding process which is used on Olympus. Okay, and how do you actually mint on the Wonderland protocol? Uh, by selling your asset, by selling your crypto asset, I should say, you get to buy a time token at a discounted price, but at a later date. So, for example, if I have some meme tokens, I sell the meme tokens today, yeah, but the token, sorry, the time token that I am going to get uh, in exchange at a later date will be at a discounted price. This means that if, for example, the time token is worth $100 per token, for example, yeah, I'm not saying it's worth that much. I'm saying as an example, if the time token is worth $100, then through the minting process, you will be able to buy that token for, let's say, $95, for example.
Mm.
Yeah, so you would have saved yourself $5 through that minting process. Now, what are the Sharia implication in regards to minting on Wonderland time? Well, you see, if you are selling your crypto asset, your cryptocurrency, like for example, meme token, for example, which is, although I did not screen meme in detail, but I know that meme is meant to be pegged to the US dollar, so I'm
It's like a
guessing is
stable coin.
that really indicates that is like a stable coin and it's like money. If you're selling meme token as money against time token, although at a discounted price, the fact that you're not taking delivery on the same day as the day you are selling your meme token would make it problematic from a Sharia perspective. Because I have mentioned before, when you are exchanging two currencies, the Sharia has taught us, the Prophet ﷺ has taught us that this has to be done in the same gathering. And here, this is not the case. If I'm selling my meme token, I will not get the time token on the day itself or in the same on the same transaction. I'm going to get it at a later stage, whether it's 3 days, 5 days, or whatever. And that would make it problematic from a Sharia perspective, and therefore you will not be able to do minting on Wonderland protocol, on the Wonderland platform. Now, there is another way as well to do minting on Wonderland. It is by selling your LP tokens. Okay. Now, when you're selling your LP tokens, now the LP tokens usually they refer to a share of tokens that you have in a different pool. Okay. Now, the LP token they tend to represent a form of certificate. For example, it's a proof of your ownership of a certain crypto asset in a pool. So the way I would look at it, me personally, is that if you are selling your LP token for time token at a future date, what really happens from a Sharia perspective is that you're selling a debt against a debt. Because your LP token represents a crypto asset that is locked away in a pool. So that is a debt because by you owning the LP token, you don't physically own
Mm.
that token. Yeah. So that is a form of a debt. Yeah. So if you're selling your LP token for time token, but the time token is going to be delivered to you in a few days' time, that means you're selling a debt against another debt. And that as well is problematic, and that would not be Sharia compliant. Now, this is the second issue that I have found with minting on Wonderland. However, like I said, if even if we say that LP token is not a debt and it represents true asset, true ownership of asset, there's no debt, nothing involved. The the question remains that your LP token most likely represent another cryptocurrency, another type of money, and therefore you're selling money against money, and one of the money is being delivered at a later stage, and that as well would render that transaction, that contract non-Sharia compliant as well. So either way, whether, because some people I think might say, oh, LP tokens might not necessarily represent a debt; it actually represent true, how do you call it, true physical ownership of
Mm.
the token, and it
Well,
is like
Mufti,
a debt.
I
So that,
sometimes say, maybe rightly or wrongly, that the LP token
yeah,
is like a receipt. because if
Yeah.
I do the Merhaba USDT liquidity pool, they give me that token. So even
Yeah.
then, Mufti Sab, you're saying that even if it's a receipt or a debt, I am now using that to buy something else. So that's not
Yes.
compliant.
And most, like I said, because that receipt most likely is going to represent the ownership of another cryptocurrency, which is probably going to be on Wonderland, is probably going to represent meme token, and selling meme token for time token and with a late delivery, it is not permissible. So either way, it's not going to work. So minting on Wonderland most likely, I mean, definitely is not going to be Sharia compliant. So that's
And Mufti Sab, just
now.
to counter, because mashallah, some listeners and it's not their fault, right? But they will find creative ways to think about this, because one could argue, I agree with you. One could argue it's because on their website, I was sharing my screen earlier, they call it a
Yeah.
vesting period. And someone could say, oh, but
Yes.
what about Merhaba? Merhaba has a vesting period. Like, as an investor, I have a vesting period. And just
Yeah.
explain, well, how that's different. Because this is different. This is not, you're not paying with the money, like actual money, you're paying with something else. So if you could just explain how that vesting, what time calls vesting, is different from normal vesting or equity vesting, or how Merhaba would do vesting. Explain why that is different, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, very, very briefly, yeah. Taking possession, taking delivery of an asset at a later stage is not always problematic from a Sharia perspective. So, like for example, yeah, I am buying something off the Amazon website, for example. Yeah. Now, if I'm ordering something, I'm paying now. I'm only going to take delivery whenever they actually deliver it to me, right? Now, not all the time, and Sharia does recognize that it is not possible, to to prohibit this type of activity, because otherwise life would just become true, impossible to live, right? But there are, in some scenarios, we can say, okay, it is permissible to take a late delivery of the asset, but not all the time. Okay, it will all depends on which asset is being traded. In this case, yeah, the reason why there is a problem on the Wonderland platform is that you are selling a currency against another currency at a delay date. Yeah, and that is problematic because when you're exchanging one currency with another, you need to do it on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
With Marhaba, that is not the case at this moment in time. Marhaba token is not a currency. It is not a currency, and it is not being used as a currency. It gives you the right to access certain services, and that service, if it's if the delivery is delayed, then we are saying, okay, that is permissible because this is not currency. Imagine if, inshallah, I hope that will be the case. But imagine, in 5 years' time, Marhaba, is working perfectly fine, mashallah, and the Marhaba token now turns into a proper currency on its ecosystem. Is used as a currency now. Yeah. Then buying Marhaba with a currency for the Marhaba token with a late delivery will not be permissible. This is a fact.
Mm.
Understand? So, and we know that when we drafted the SAFTA agreement for those buying the Marhaba token in advance, we had that in mind that, is this, we have the Sharia board asked themselves the question that, is Marhaba token a currency at this stage? And if it is a currency, can we actually create this structure of the SAFT agreement where the delivery of the Marhaba token is going to happen at a later stage? And the conclusion was that Marhaba token is not a currency because the currency, I mean, Marhaba token was non-existent at the time, so you cannot say it's a currency. And secondly, it is, even if it's existent, it's not used as a currency at this stage. I mean, it has to go through a certain process until it is recognized as a currency on the platform, on its ecosystem. At this stage, that is not even the case, right? So for that reason, we say it is okay. That type of vesting is perfectly fine. So there are some time where the vesting period is acceptable, but there are some time where it is not acceptable. It all depends on what kind of crypto asset is being traded. Yeah.
Got you. Got you. That makes sense. Thanks for that clarification because I did see comments and questions about that before in the Telegram group. So that
Yes,
makes
yes,
sense.
yes, yes, yeah. I think yes, yes, yes. So, that's that in terms of minting on Wonderland. The second way to make profit on Wonderland is through staking.
Staking.
Now, I believe, although I did not look into it in like real deep because I did not have. In fact, I had another, episode of the Discord. Me and Discord, I don't know. There's always a problem. So last time I got kicked
Did they
out.
kick you again? Did they kick you out again, Mufti?
No, no, no. It was worse. It was worse. They didn't even let me in.
Oh,
They
right,
didn't
right.
even let me in. Yeah.
You gotta make an alias.
So
You gotta make an alias. You gotta take away from Mufti Bilal to, something
Yeah,
else.
it's
You gotta have
some really, really white name like Lachlan Gillies or Lachlan Smith or something. You know what I mean?
you gotta use your French
well,
name,
I'm not.
Mufti Bilal.
I'm not. I am not using Mufti Bilal, or I don't think I'm even using
Jakarti
Bilal
or
at all.
something.
Yeah, Jacques,
No,
you know?
Jakarti le
Jean-Marc.
tournon.
When I a long time ago, when I used to work at the what do you call it at the call center for the French market for PayPal and eBay.
Mm.
My French name was Martin, Monsieur Martin.
That's it. There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
That's your
Makta.
name now.
Makta Macron.
No, no, he's Emmanuel Macron. Anyway, so
Staking.
just to finish on this Wonderland issue, so staking. So staking, I believe that my initial assessment is that staking here is probably not used uh, to support, a proof of stake concept like the one we have discussed before. I think here staking is mainly used to reduce the what do you call it? To reduce the what do you call it? The circulation of the time token in the market. They want to reduce the circulation and hoping that there is going to be a high demand of the token. And if that was to happen, then the price of the time token will increase. I think this is the aim of staking on the for Wonderland. But I could be wrong. Okay, I could be wrong. But nevertheless, the Sharia assessment of profit made through staking is not based on any of this model at this moment in time. The Sharia assessment is based on the reward that you are getting through staking. Yeah. And on Wonderland, the reward that you get is actually through the profit that Wonderland makes from minting.
From
And this is
minting.
why, yes, and this is why I thought of mentioning minting first so that
Mm.
people understand. So when through minting, Wonderland makes profit. Don't ask me the details of it. I probably would not be able to explain in details why, but they do make profit through minting, and they use that profit to actually reward the stakers. Okay. Now remember, we said that minting is non-Sharia compliant because of the reason I have given before. Therefore, if the contract itself is non-Sharia compliant, then by you staking your crypto there, then you are in a way not only you're supporting an ecosystem that's creating, non-Sharia compliant contract, but also you're benefiting from the profit they make through non-Sharia compliant contract as well. And I think that would not be acceptable from a Sharia perspective. Therefore, Wonderland Money. Is it Wonderland Money? I think Wonderland Money
Yeah, Time
is the full
Wonderland.
name.
Yeah, you know?
Time Wonderland
Yeah.
Money is not acceptable. to profit from. You can have the token. I mean, you can buy the token. You can use it to, if there are platforms that take token, as a payment, as a mode of payment, etc. That is absolutely fine. Yeah, but you cannot interact on that platform to make profit,
So,
unfortunately.
Mufti Sab, if you are already invested in Time Wonderland, what should you do? And now that you know this knowledge, I'm asking for a friend.
Uh, I mean, your friend is going to hate me now because was it 8,000%
Eighth, and I shared my
return?
screen earlier, and this is why we got so many questions about Time Wonderland, right? So, 85,000 APY, and the reason why it's so high is it's cumulative. So it's not usually when you have APY, it talks about your return on the initial principal, whereas it auto compounds, which is why it's made so much hype. But but yeah. So yeah, I mean, the answer's obvious, right? If you're in it, you should get out of it. Like if that's now that you have this
Yes,
knowledge.
you should get out of it, and any profit that you make, look, any profit you make through non-share compliant transaction must be given away. Okay, must be given away, must be returned. For, sorry, must be
I'll
returned
take
if there
them.
is a
I'll
possibility
take
to
them.
return it. It must be returned, or it must be given away in sadaqah. Okay, it must be given in sadaqah.
Okay,
Now,
then I can't
if you
take.
have
Then I
made,
cannot take.
you cannot take it now. So if there's too much to give away and you cannot afford to give it away in one go for XY reason, you don't have that much or whatever, do it slowly, slowly, as long as you do it. And yes, that's all I can say. I mean, and if you think, okay, no, uh, you're not satisfied with that analysis, then maybe consult a local scholar or something like that and get more guidance before you take any step of getting rid of your token, of your profit. So sorry.
Mufti, as a side note, as a side question, and honestly, this has been really, really valuable for me personally, understanding, and I know for the community, I know they've been asking for this, and guys, we said we do listen, we do try. The Mufti is very, very busy. Obviously, he's got other things to do than answer mine and personal mine and Ahmed's personal questions about what is halal, let alone from the entire communities. But we really, really do appreciate it. As a side note, Mufti Saab, like, what would you say? Like, say you someone seeking that knowledge, and now they know it's haram, and then there's this tendency for people to try to justify. Oh, but da 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 da, or yeah, cool, I have that knowledge. It's different when you don't have the knowledge. It's different when you don't have the knowledge and your intentions are the best. But sometimes the shaitan comes in and it's like tries to justify it after you have the knowledge. So I know it's not related to this, and I know it's kind of going
Yeah.
outside of the topic, but what's your opinion on that? What's your view on that?
Look, this is a human nature, right? It's human nature. It's like something happened. How can I say that? Uh, it's a form of regret, and it's not easy to accept, right? It's not easy to accept something which like and that's with anything. That's not just with that, that's with anything. We're always trying to justify ourselves when we're living something so nicely. It's like the same thing with probably a relationship, for example. Yeah, if you're a friend, for example, with somebody, that person is so close to you, and you know only good thing about that person, and then later on you find out that he's a criminal. Even with the proof in front of you, you're probably not going to be ready to accept it. You're going to trying to justify that, no, this is not true because of XY reason. This person is done this, is done that. So this is human nature, right? But yes, it's the way that we react to things. First of all, we need to learn to keep our head cool, of course, and I'm talking about myself first. But at the same time, is that you must always, yeah, uh, try to analyze things from, how do you call it, from what do you call that in English, when you're not, how can I say that? I forgot the word, it's on my tongue. I cannot bring it now. When
Like an
you're
objective, rational type of perspective.
rational, and like, with an open mind. Sorry, that's what I was looking, with an open mind. You need to look at the facts. Yeah, you need to look at the facts. You need to, like I said to you, for example, me, I said that, exchanging money against money is not permissible. Yeah. Now, if a person says, yeah, but I don't think there is an exchange of money against money here. I mean, sorry, let me rephrase that. Yeah. You can exchange money against money. Yeah. You cannot exchange money against money if there's a delay in the delivery. Okay. That's from a Sharia
Mhm.
perspective. You cannot do that. Now, if a person said, no, but I do not believe that this is money, then fair enough. Do your research and try to prove that this is not money. Do you understand?
Mhm.
But look, do your research, look at it, be open minded, and then think, okay, this is money. Is this money or is this not money? But that's all we can say. I mean, like I said, this is with everything and anything. People will never be ready, to accept things the way they are when they've been telling themselves something else from before. Okay,
Yeah, good advice. Yeah.
so that's that's all I
Yeah.
can say.
There's two more points I want to add here, Mufti Sab, and I think you can add value to one of them for sure. Is the aspect that, look, a lot of people make profits and then they also make losses within the haram things. Let's just say I invested $1,000 in something that was haram. I made it to about 1,200, but inside I also lost another, like, say, $100. So I'm actually at a profit of $100. So my actual charity that I need to give is $100, correct? Not the $200.
Sorry, Ahmed, can you just repeat that scenario, please?
Where I'm trying to get to is that I'm just trying to say that there's a lot of volatility and fluctuations in your investments, right? So in one
Yeah.
investment that you do, you may make per profits in some places, you make losses in some places. Just to clarify, it's the charity that you need to give from these investments are net profit, right? The amount that is above your capital principal.
Yes, but you have to understand something here. Yeah. Let's say, for example,
Mm-hmm.
that I made £1,000 profit in a haram investment. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Mm-hmm.
I lose in that same investment. At some point, I lose £800.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
That means I need to give away 200 pounds from £1,000. I lost 800 already, and I have 200 left. So that means I need to give away £200, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, if, for example, now I am making, how do you call it, another loss, another loss
Mm-hmm.
on a different haram investment, okay,
Yes.
which is
Mm-hmm.
£400. So straight away I lost £400, for example. Yeah. So I
Mm-hmm.
invested, I lost, I invested £400 and I lost £400. Yeah. Can I
Mm-hmm.
offset that £200 profit that I still have against that £400?
La Habibi.
Yeah. I would say,
No, no.
even if I would say, don't do that. Don't do
Mm-hmm.
that because look at each, even if the result is the same, even if the result might be the same at some point, always look at each investment on its own. Never take the habit of, the reason why I'm saying
Mm.
that is that otherwise what will happen is people will be investing in haram, right, to try to offset as a mean of hedging, as a mean of hedging.
Ah.
Understand? And for that reason, they will say, okay, you know what? I will invest here, here, here. And that can happen. That can happen. For that reason, I always say,
Mm-hmm.
look at each investment on its own. Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
don't try to play and mess about, with another one. If you need to give away £200 from this investment, then give away £200 from the investment. Don't try to say, okay, let's see how much I've lost there and how much did I win here. Don't do that.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
at the
yeah.
end of the
Keep it
day, each
simple.
contract, from a Sharia perspective, you are judged from each individual contract anyway. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So therefore, when you're
Mm-hmm.
doing your calculation, do the same. Do the calculation on each individual contract, and anything needs to be
Mm-hmm.
given away from that particular contract, just do it. Don't try to mix and match both, because people, if we start saying this is fine, people will definitely do certain thing. They will try to, how they will do that is they will try to invest in high risk investment, right, where they can lose, and then on the other hand, they will try to invest in less risky investment, and then any
Hmm.
profit that they will be making there, they will say, okay, I have already lost my money there, so that profit is fine,
Yeah.
whatever, they try to do it. For that
Savannah.
reason,
Yeah,
I
Mm.
very
think
good
that
point.
It's a little too creative accounting. You can't treat you can't treat Sharia and your creator like the tax office. You know what I mean? You can't you can't do that.
especially especially in one of those Scandinavian or Canadian countries where taxes are too high. Okay, so if you don't like, if you heard something here and you're like, it's gonna make my life a little bit harder, so you call 1-800 cheapfatwas.com, and they'll. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. So the second point, which I really want to kind of say, is, and you guys can add your value to it, is that this is me getting a little bit more spiritual and deep here, but not a trillion dollars on this planet of haram income is worth even a drop of the sand within heaven. So do not sacrifice something, and this is not only about religious. Even if you're an ethical person, not a single, not a trillion dollar is worth your dignity and ethics and the right thing to do in life versus something that can, than that $1 trillion. So be careful and be cautious. It's better to go about these things than to, be like, okay, I'll get forgiven and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Oh,
It's
it doesn't
crazy.
matter, or you just justify it in your head. Oh, you know, it's so funny, Mufti Sab. I'm sure you get this. People ask you for your advice, and then when you don't give them the advice you want, you don't understand or something. You know what I mean? No, like inshallah, small percentage, but sometimes that's the extreme, right? But yeah, we can't do that. We
Can,
can't do that. We have to.
can,
We have to. Once we
Mulisab,
have
can
the
I ask
knowledge.
you this? Can I ask you this? This is gonna be
Yeah.
a little bit funny. Has anybody slid $100 bill or something in your hand to try to get a cheap fatwa?
No, they
uh,
sent it in Bitcoin.
not to get
No.
I I've
Okay.
been offered. Yes, it has happened in the past. Not physically, but it has happened. Some form of offer has been made. Yes, that can happen. People do
So you
manipulate
got.
fatwas. When I was a student, there was a person.
Mhm.
I think he had something to do with inheritance. Okay,
I'm a Joe.
so
Uh,
he wrote a question to one place, one Darul Ulum, and then he got the answers. Okay, he got the answers, and then what happened? Yeah, is he changed the pages or something like that of the answers. He manipulated the whole document, and then he resent the question to another Darul Ulum, who, based on the new
mhm,
information, based on the information that were sent, they give a different answer to the first one, to the first fatwa department. And eventually, the second fatwa department found out that this guy has already sent the question somewhere else, where he was given a different type of answer. But when the time came to ask them, he actually manipulated the pages, and they found out about it. Yeah. So these things do
mm.
happen. Unfortunately, these things do happen. So
Money,
yeah, I mean, it's
money can
not
sometimes be
surprising.
a
I mean,
devil.
yeah, look, people do misuse religion and stuff like that for their own personal gain. That's with everybody.
Hmm.
That's not just in Islam. That's in every other religion. People, I mean, create religion, create new religion to actually prey on the weak, right?
Hmm.
Mm.
So yeah, it's nothing surprising.
Well, okay, so we're getting totally off topic, but I think that kind of answers a lot of various topics, and I think we can make these standalone videos too. But thank you for answering on Wonderland and its permissibility. We appreciate that. I think it's a lot of value for us. And then talking about if you have made impermissible income, what to do with it. Phenomenal things are phenomenal answers, Mufti Saab, and really appreciate it. Inshallah, next week, guys, if you want one of your questions answered, please do put it in the comments, and we'll try our best to cover it. If you haven't already done so, go on our Telegram. We already have an entire bot set up for all of these questions. So do ask your questions to the bot. If you don't know which bot I'm talking about, you haven't been actively listening in the the main Telegram. So join the main Telegram. Ask the moderators what is what is this bot? What is this Sharia bot? Which is this question bot? And they will get you more details on that.
Mm.
All right,
And we should
other
be able to link
so
that. I
this
think we should be able to link that as well.
I can link that to you guys. Yes, for sure. I can. We can send that over in the description below. Um, okay, so that swiftly moves me over to updates on Marhaba. What's happening at Marhaba? Where are we right now? Okay, so Souk NFT is out. There's some really good art up there. We're onboarding new artists. There's naturally so many artists coming on. People are making designs and art on history, architecture, culture. I even saw some of the team pictures are up there. I don't know what's going on, but somebody wanted to make a picture of all of us and put it up there. Cool. Um, so there's a lot of things that are happening. Do check them out, and if you're an artist yourself, also check it out. Very soon you'll start seeing a lot new artists being generating new artwork for us and all of this stuff. The other main update is on Sahal Wallet. Sahal Wallet has been delayed, but it has been delayed for the right reasons and for the best reasons for the community. There are certain features and utilities that the team believed was required for the project before, or required for the product and the project, because this is the heart of the entire ecosystem, right? This is where everybody's gonna come and access the entire ecosystem. So we we as a team decided we're going to delay and we're going to put in the right feature. So it's going to be a minor delay, but it's going to be a bang at the ending of the day. It's going to bring a lot of value to us. Those are the major updates. There is going to be a lot more updates next week because there's certain deals and partnerships that are in place in the discussions right now. So obviously we're going to have to wait till things are signed before anything could be made public. And I know last time I even mentioned something and I couldn't make it public news, but inshallah in the upcoming when things are signed we can make it public news. Those are my updates from Marhaba. We had a phenomenal answer from Mufti Saab. Thank you for your market update, Mobi. Any last pointers from Mufti Saab or from Mobi before we go to the last point, and which is about the reward that we promised from two videos?
Mufti Saab's jumped off. I think he's had enough of us, Ahmed. But we thank him for his time. Sometimes our no, we do, sometimes our updates go a bit longer. So thank you so much, Mufti Saab. We really, really appreciate it. And I know you guys listening do, because me and Ahmed did. We really appreciated the Mufti Saab's time. But yeah, like last thing I sort of want to say for myself, Ahmed, you said it more articulately and beautiful than I could. With the whole, the metaphor you gave, but. You're right. Like we just have to be real with ourselves, right? We got to be real with ourselves. Like if you're doing the wrong thing, just own up and be a man. Yeah, I'm doing the wrong thing, right? Like for
Mm,
example, I have this debate, and not to go too far off topic, but I have this not debate. I never bring up the mortgage thing Subhanallah. Some reason people always want to pick a fight with me. I never bring it up, and usually I say, look, I'm not the person to have a
me.
discussion.
I'm that guy. I'm that guy that brings it up.
No, the people who say
I
it's halal, they say that mortgage is halal, right? Like that you can
Yeah.
you can take that, right? Um,
No, yeah, so I bring it up. I bring it up to the uncles whenever they're talking about like real estate
oh,
and
you'll bring it up
because
as the counter. You're not saying that. Just to clarify, I don't want anyone to
yeah,
think that you are condoning mortgages, correct?
no, I'm not saying it's
Yeah,
acceptable to
exactly. I
take it.
exactly. I follow you. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I,
Whereas
I'm
I don't bring it up. I don't bring it up.
mm,
You're instigating, and I'm just scared to talk about things that I have no knowledge on, right? But I
yeah,
always
yeah,
sort of say, look, if you're doing the wrong thing, just admit you're doing the wrong thing. Like, but don't go a step further and be like,
to
nah,
justify
nah,
it.
nah, like I'm justifying it. Like, oh, it's okay because there was a
Mm,
fatwa that whatever. Don't do that. That's again, we're not sheikhs, and we're not muftis. Me and Ahmad aren't those people, but just be scared when you start justifying things. You know what I mean? So but yeah, I think you put
yeah,
it really perfectly. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. You won't have barakah in your halal investments if you're getting profits from your haram investments.
exactly. Okay, so to wrap it up, Moby, did our two the previous to the previous video get 100 likes?
Good
As far
question,
as I
man.
know,
I'm gonna
it
look
did.
into that. I'm gonna look into that right now.
I
Let's have a
looked
look.
into it, and it
If you
doesn't
want to
seem
quickly,
like
while I
that is.
find that, if you want to talk about what the offer was from you.
Yes, so we have a physical format of the Marhaba token. It is us. It is gonna be a scarce thing. It's gonna be rare. Obviously, right now people are not gonna think it's a huge thing, but it's about understanding the value you will have in the future. It is a metal coin. It is uh, well put, well designed, and it's a beautiful piece. So we were gonna give one of those to one of the people in the comment sections if that video got 100 likes. And Moby as a team, I do not think we got 100 likes.
Boom, boom. No, we got 60. So, guys, I appreciate the people who did try to push it,
Uh-huh.
and did try to promote it and try to help us. We're very happy with the community. Almost 2,800. We're gonna hit 3,000 soon subscribers. So really, really do appreciate it. But we didn't hit it. And like Ahmed says, and I'm like this with my kids. We don't believe in participation awards. So we may bring it back. We may think about another competition or something. But
Hmm.
guys, honestly, thank you so much for everyone who sort of helped. And please remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. We're really getting the word out, and we do want to be the
Hmm.
premier, crypto education channel, not just a Marhaba, shilling channel, because that's not what we're about. As you know, we give you guys
Yeah.
education. We want to be the number one on YouTube. And you guys are making that a reality.
Yeah. So once again, thanks a lot for the participation. But you know what? I'm not gonna break everybody's hearts and hopes. And so what we'll do is, if you made it this far, this competition is gonna come up again. Maybe when we hit 4,000 subscribers, I'll re-bring it up because I think at that point it'll be a little bit easier. So what I would say is honestly share our channel. If it's bringing you value, please do share it with as many people as you could as possible. Hey, get us to the 4,000 point subscribers, and then after that, I will reopen up this opportunity for everybody to take a chance at. And I think at that time we'll decide a new number for the likes, and we'll go from there, inshallah. Well, so how do you like that movie? Is that fair enough?
Sounds great. That's fair. Very fair.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, that kind of wraps us up, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Any new questions, any comments, give us all your details and all that stuff in the comments below. You'll get all the details in the description. As always, like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification icon for those updates, and check us out on our other social medias. And due to it being Omicron, wear your masks, use your hand sanitizers, do what the government is telling you to do because they care about you, and protect
Well,
yourself.
it
And even if you
depends
don't
on
need
the
the government,
government. Depends on the government. But you're right about the Omicron stuff. Sorry, I had to throw
yeah,
that in
yeah.
there. Had to throw that in there. But you're right. You're right about the Omicron stuff. Take those
Certain
precautions.
certain governments are yeah. So, but you get what I'm trying to say. Stay safe. Your kids, your family are more important than anything else. And yeah, take care of yourself. As always, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.